Hello and welcome to our tutorial. We are going to look at making a head for our character. So we're going to do that by bringing in a background image. Now we have done this before in class, but we're just going to do it sort of formally here. Where are we? So we're going to use this one here. So what we want to do is we want to split our view. We're going to go into GLSL and split our view. And this is front orthographic, and this is going to be right orthographic. So for this side, actually it should be left orthographic, because that's the left side of our face. And this is front orthographic here. Okay, so let's make a plane and rotate it. Actually, let's not bother rotating it. Let's just go into edit mode and merge everything at the center. So now we've got one vertex. So now let's move this image over till that vertex is right on her nose. So okay, and then we're gonna so tip of the nose, and then we're gonna try and do the same over here. So we'll go down here to that looks right, and then perfect. So let's go into edit mode and start creating our character. Now we're creating a low polygon character, so we want to keep that in mind when we're extruding. Now we will use a mirror modifier in a second, but we just want to extrude 1, 2, and then to the corner of the eye is 3. So let's do that first. So GY. So I'm just going to guess where that is. This should be about there. And this should be about there. Okay. And it's not perfectly aligned, but not too bad. So we're going to do something similar here. And we're going to extrude up and up and a very small amount this way. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Okay. So we're going to make a face and a face, and this needs to move back this way, as does that, and complete our face there. Again, this is to extrude to here and there. I want to try and match our existing geometry. So this can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the rest is going to curve around the eye. Okay, so let's see if we can do that with our. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to try and duplicate what we have over here, which is 2 pieces, and then this is sort of at the top of the eyelids. This should be at the bottom of the eyelid. Again, we're trying to not mirror what we have up here, but have a similar amount of geometry, and we press F to join those two together. Now, let's see if we can position these. So this is not well aligned, but we'll do our best. So that's there. Okay. And then these two need to curve back in to there, which means that this needs to be further back. Yeah. So we can take that and we can extrude it and go S and S on X, and let's see what we've got here. So okay, so this is all working at the moment. Make this a little bit wider. It's a bit narrower. Control or is loop cut, and that will give us a joining here. So select it all, Control N, and we're actually going to invert that, so normals, flip normals. Actually, I was right the first place. I'm actually modeling this from behind, which is fine. Okay. So, we've quite a bit to do. What we really want is to create geometry that basically flows down through the face. So this is all a bit sort of it's full of straight lines and things that are not organic. So we're going to go extrude and extrude here in. We want to follow sort of the line of the face. And all the way into there. I know we'll probably end up, so I might as well subdivide that now. Now again, this is just a straight line, so we need to sort of align these properly. So we'll take this. Oh, okay. So GY. And we're just kind of trying to get these into hopefully the right position. And using our reference images just to kind of get sort of the shape of the face correct. Yeah, it's not too bad at all. So, we're going to keep on building on this. Make this a little cover a slightly greater area. Otherwise, we'll end up with too much geometry. And I'm not going to worry about the directionality of these faces just yet, but we'll get there. Like I said, we don't want to be too kind of rigid as we sort of have these a little bit more organic. Okay, so what are these here? We want to go up over the brow. So we're going to cut in, and then so again we're trying to match the geometry that we have here. So this one's got to move forward to the brow. This is going to be sort of matching that. This is sort of here. And then extruding. So we go. Okay. So let's fill across here a little bit, see what we get. So this is just to get a basic sort of shape, basic sort of reference. select it all, and we'll set it to be smooth. So now this needs to follow the shape of the eyebrow, and then that needs to be in the right position in a corresponding way over here. Now, then we can okay. So now, so not doing too badly. I'm going to add in my mirror modifier now. So it's going to complete the other side for me. Okay, now we're going to add in a subdivision surface modifier just to make it a bit more organic. Okay. So now where to next? So we have geometry here across the top of the nose. So okay, and this is a little more directed, still near the top of the nose, but covering a little more area. Oops, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, we're going to have to do a bit of work with these. Now, so this one is going to come down here. So we've got 3. So this is going to go to the top of the nostril and below it, and then down to the bottom of the nose. Same with this on top of the nostril, down below it, bottom of the nose. And we can fill these in. And we'll reposition them over here in a second. Okay. Now, a lot of people do not use this method anymore. They prefer to just sculpt. Sculpt and sculpt and sculpt, which is excellent. Sculpting is an excellent way to make organic shapes, but this is not to replace that method. This is simply a different starting point. Okay, I'm going to take this and this and subdivide it. And same again. Now, so just going to make our way down to the top of the lip. Okay, so this is is where we are at the moment. So this is not a bad start. It's a slow process, but it reaps good rewards. So we have it should be up a bit higher, and we're going to have to bring this in here. And we've cut in there. Now we need to position these correctly. So we're going to follow, this is our main kind of gauge, so we'll be a bit high over on this side, but that's okay. It's going to go okay. Now we should turn clipping on to make sure these all match up, and again I'm just going to give them the correct three-dimensional position, and then we'll work our way in to the lip. Okay. Now so these are all going to kind of curve in for the lip. And this last one will curve in quite a bit. Okay. Don't worry about joining it in here in a second. So let's get this one. This is going to go out. Before it goes dramatically back in. Okay. Yeah, sorry. Okay. Now, if we want to put in other items like teeth, etc., later, we can delete this gap and add them in. So now what we have, let's just look at our geometry. So I can join that there, not there. So move this forward and go face. Move this backwards. And then these join here. So this is our mount as it exists, or as it sits here. So we need to fix this, but mount's fine. Okay. So See, we have a problem here. So this is just overlapping geometry because we didn't have the clipping turned on when we made it. Okay, so we're just going to finish off the sort of front sort of facial mask. So we'll won't do the ear ending in this. We'll just do the kind of front part of the face. And we have the most difficult parts done at this stage. So we will extrude out 3. And we'll fix their position over here in a moment. Okay. So some of this is guessing. Just trying to use and then using some experience of having done it before many times to figure out what position I should be in. And I should be able to do this W bridge edge loops to create a series of faces. Yeah. Okay, so again we've a crease issue here, so we can just go fix that. So right. So again we'll repeat that process here. So we want this needs to join here. We have a lot of geometry to sort of join up before we get there, but let's see what we can do here. So there's a quad here that we can fill in, but it's a very big area. It's probably not a good idea. So what we'll do is we'll use this to follow across on the cheek. Okay, and then we need to position that geometry over here. Oops. That seems fine there. Maybe bring it a little bit further back. Okay. And we can do the same with this one. So this is going to come slightly forward because the cheek is raised. Okay, and again, position these on Y. And then fill this in here. Now, we'll do the same with this, just to get this eye area finished. So this is above the eye socket, so this should be up here. So face, oops, and face. Now I'm going to use this technique again across the cheek, but this time instead of trying to reach up to the eye, I'm going to let this sit below it. Okay, and I've missed one here, so I need to subdivide that. And I can move this over and slightly in to make this area slightly more raised and the effect a bit better. Now this, I've sort of got almost a little kind of trough here, little valley of verts that suits me to have these run very close to what I already had, because these will generally give the impression of a raised cheek. So this will be to our advantage. Hopefully that'll become more apparent when the cheek is completed. Now, so eventually we want these to join up here. So this can move out 1, 2. So again, we don't want to have a situation where we have geometry there are faces that are enormous, because we'll get texture stretching if they're too big. Now, so what we're going to do here is we're just going to start creating smaller faces in this area that will help us to close up this geometry. So instead of trying to do lines of geometry across the face. Now, so I'm going to join these together. This is too big an area to join, but we're going to add loop cut here, loop cut here. Move that slightly forward. Very good. So we have a face there, and this is too big an area, so we're going to run a loop cut through there to the eye. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 here. And 1, 2, 3, 4 there. So, and we're trying to maintain as much as possible quads. So I'm going to finish off this forehead, but that's roughly our geometry. And you can see we have a few areas that we need to tweak. We've given this woman kind of a jowl, but maybe it should be a dimple, not a jowl. So that's relatively easy to fix. So we need to bring this back. We can work on that. So we will extend these here. And then we'll use the bridge edge loop to join these together. Yeah, and then we'll leave it at that for now. So we will we've got all them selected. Now we have to deselect. They can't be linked for the bridge edge loop to work. So W bridge edge loop, it'll fill in all that top, and then we have these individual ones to do. So a time-consuming process, but quite an accurate one. So what we can do on this side, if I just set this to be smooth, just as a very quick setup here, so I'm just going to go into my node editor, turn this into a UV image editor, and we'll select this and we'll go U, and then project from view, and then load in the reference image. Oops, that was dramatic. There we go, and then we can bring this over here, scale it, scale on Y. Now we haven't done sort of the eyelid or so that's roughly it there. So what we're going to do is go to materials, and we'll use the default material. We're in Blender render, so we'll go to cycles, and we'll say use nodes. We'll zoom in, and we will add an image texture. Join the two colors and add this in. We've got a rendered, and that's our rendered image there at the moment. So if we go to our lamp and draw a bit more light on it, that's what we've got at the moment, which is not too bad for a short amount of work. So we can go File, Save As, and we'll call this, let's put it onto my desktop for now. I'll call this 3D Face. And we'll save it, and we will pack in our texture and save again, and leave it there for now.